Oh, cool. A professional liar. And a highly paid one as well. I'll definitely have to watch that. I better bookmark that and put that on my agenda. All right, ladies and gentlemen, MrSotko here. Welcome back to the channel. Got a whole bunch of crypto news as usual for you. And the first thing I want to talk about is that Blockstream Satellite now means most of the world can use Bitcoin without internet. And blockchain technology company Blockstream revealed the second phase of its satellite-based Bitcoin communication project, Blockstream Satellite, this week. So this is kind of cool information. And I don't think it's really live yet. I don't think this really works yet. Otherwise, this would probably be bigger news than it is, I guess. But part of a plan to provide free Bitcoin sending and receiving without the need for an internet connection, the company now provides satellite coverage of the Asia-Pacific region, and a company blog post confirmed. So we have a bunch of satellites. We got one in North America, South America, Africa, Europe, and Asia. So phase one of the project covered North and South America, Europe, and Africa, and a major proponent of Bitcoin's Lightning Network implementation, Blockstream also unveiled an API to allow broadcast of data via blockchain satellite with fees paid via the protocol. Developers promised the API would go live for users in January 2019, and while satellite communications are traditionally cost prohibitive, blockchain satellite will finally allow developers to adopt satellite communications. So natural disaster notifications, secure personal messaging, and sending Bitcoin market data to remote locations are just some of the exciting examples of the power of this service. So apparently the satellites are multi-use, and that would make sense. But you can see the coverage here, and I'm not sure if this is like the total coverage of these satellites, but you can see that the Saudis kind of get the shaft on this one in the Caucasus region, and it appears a big portion of Russia as well. And Nunavut as well doesn't seem to get the satellite coverage. I don't know why, but do Inuits use Bitcoin? Probably. I don't know. And also Greenland, but nobody lives in Greenland, so... And then Iceland, a little bit of no coverage. But you guys got cool geothermal power anyway, so you'll be okay. So that's pretty cool. Like I said, I don't think this is really available just yet. I think it's sort of rolling out. But this is pretty cool. Satellite coverage of Bitcoin, being able to send and receive via your phone or just satellite service in some way. Pretty interesting. Moving on to the next article, Bitcoin shoots above 3,500. Calvin Ayre sees price going to zero. So I have no idea how to pronounce this guy's name. Is it Calvin Ayre or Ayre? Because I respect this person so little, I don't really bother looking up their name. So Bitcoin served the markets another surprise by staging, oh my god, I can talk today, I promise, a rally instead of sliding below 3,000. Its price rose above the 3,500 level after an unnerving 4-day stagnation around 3,200. Bitcoin reached 3,542. As of 8:30 UTC on Tuesday, despite the positive movement, Calvin Ayre, a Bitcoin SV proponent, forecast that Bitcoin price will unravel to zero in 2019. As he said in an interview with the Daily Express. I mean, first of all, let's just rewind that. First of all, like, even if a coin, I don't even think a coin could ever really be valued at zero as long as it's on an exchange. Because even, like, you know, real alti coins like Patcoin and stuff is like 0.0001. You know what I mean? It's at least something. It's not zero. And why would it go to zero? I don't know, maybe because he's a Bitcoin SV proponent. The reason for this is that the Bitcoin SV project has set its sights on becoming the leading coin for payments. Yeah, just like every other coin developer, literally, displacing Bitcoin. BSV, however, currently sits at $79, a whole $79, after touching lows of about 64 last weekend. And the chief argument against Bitcoin is that blockchain has not scaled and it still has troubles with high fees and potential congestion. At the same time, the Bitcoin SV project will aim to scale by propagating larger blocks, first as a test, later as a regular occurrence. It has also served up talk of trusted miners devoting special resources, in effect centralizing the network partially. So yeah, no, it's okay. We'll just centralize the network. And also, because the blocks are so huge, you would need like 8 hard drives stacked on top of each other to hold so that's fun. That's, you know, I mean, centralization, that's pretty cool. I mean, especially for Bitcoin, right? That's definitely a good selling point. So, you know what? I don't even want to continue reading the article. I just wanted to bring you guys this because I figured somebody's going to have a lot of fun and laugh about that. Bitcoin going to go to zero because Bitcoin SV is here, guys. Bitcoin SV is here, guys. We don't need Bitcoin anymore. Throw it in the garbage. Don't even take your Bitcoin to an exchange and then sell it and then get Bitcoin SV. Put it on a thumb drive and throw it in the ocean because we no longer need Bitcoin. We have Bitcoin SV. Oh my God. Whew. I was getting a little nervous there. I was starting to panic, but now that SV is out, everything's just okay. Moving on to the next article. How crypto miners are adapting to survive the bear market. Crypto winter is taking its toll, and this year a number of mining operations have closed globally. Around tens of thousands of mining rigs have shut down in China. However, the bear market has ignited a wave of creativity among resourceful market participants, allowing their mining operations to thrive by capitalizing on new cost-efficient strategies. So, co-founder of Blockstream Solutions and a consultant based in Chicago also operates one of the largest mining pools for Aeon Network. He acknowledges that while the bear market has caused many facilities to close shop, experienced miners are getting creative in capturing greater market share. It is the miners who built inefficient and large indoor facilities a few years ago and bought mining rigs Q3, Q2, 2018 that are in trouble. De Souza explains that the mining market participants currently going out of business most likely purchased rigs and signed hosting contracts between Q4 and Q2. While BTC was trading over 9,000. Within that time frame, S9 sold for over 2,000, and a 2-year hosting contract averaged $120 per S9 per month. So according to Blockware in the US, under current market conditions, the going rate for hosting an S9 is between $60 and $75 a month, even though you won't make that, so that makes no sense. Depending on the number of units, it is just like every market cycle. The inefficient get wiped out, even though that's completely inefficient. I have no idea what this guy's talking about. Market participants observe the incumbents' mistake, run lean, cost-efficient operations, and establish long-term competitive advantages. And our mine will be able to still thrive at $1,500, said De Souza. So on average, solo miners pay 13 cents a kilowatt to run their rigs at home or anywhere with residential rates. But miners have been able to reduce their total cost by over 40% during the BTC correction by contracting with a hosting facility and locking in a 6 or 7 cent per kilowatt rate. So it's kind of the same thing almost. If you had a business rate of electricity, you'd be receiving very similar. So yeah, miners are having a hard time right now, and if you run an S9 at home, or if you have several of them in your house or something like that, you're probably operating at a fairly big loss at the moment. However, a lot of people are turning to hosting services where they're just in big facilities with super low rates in portions of the world. And I actually know somebody who has done this. And, you know, he sent his, I think, to Quebec and some, you know, like 400 or 500 GPUs he has, and sent it there because he was mining in a place that was way too expensive. And he sent them somewhere else to mine for a cheaper rate. And now it's going to be okay for him, and he's actually making a reasonable amount of money and able to pay that. Now, with the bear market, unfortunately, he's not really making too much, even with that amount of GPUs. So it just goes to show the lower we get, the harder it is getting for everybody, and hopefully we see a correction soon. But for the most part, the article talks about, you know, sending them to a facility. So if you have a lot of GPUs, you know, I would recommend the same. You know, find a hosting facility, make sure you talk with them, make sure it's all legit. You know, maybe go visit it, you know, just do all your research. And if you have, you know, hundreds of GPUs, or you have tons of ASICs or something, you can send them somewhere else in the world to a hosting facility. So it's not like cloud mining, really. You're just paying the electricity portion and a small maintenance fee, etc. And you'll be able to mine for way, way cheaper, likely half, 40%, 50% cheaper than you're mining now. So that is a thing. So if you guys have massive mining operations and you're not doing too well, maybe consider sending them to a hosting service, because so far I've heard good things about that. U.S. crypto exchange Coinbase introduces digital asset conversions. Oh, Coinbase, you're such a great exchange, or at least GDAX is, now Coinbase Pro, which I hate that name, but I get why they changed it, because GDAX and Coinbase had no correlation in their name whatsoever, but whatever. So the San Francisco-based cryptocurrency exchange and wallet service Coinbase has launched its new convert service, according to an official statement. Per the statement, customers are initially able to convert between Bitcoin, Ethereum, Ethereum Classic, Litecoin, ZRX, and Bitcoin Cash, the same coins that they actually already have. So yeah, that makes sense. And the service will be available on Coinbase.com and the firm's iOS and Android apps, which is pretty cool. But unfortunately, this is nowhere even close to something like Shapeshift, where you can take a whole bunch of goofy coins and turn them into Bitcoin or into Ethereum or Litecoin or something like that. You could receive Vertcoin and go to Shapeshift instead of signing up to some exchange that has Vertcoin and just shapeshifting it, paying a small fee, which is it's never been much. I've done it before, and it's really no big deal, and turning it into Bitcoin instead. Whereas this is just in between like 6 different coins here, which is not that useful in my opinion, as you can really just already essentially convert these on GDAX as it is, essentially just by trading them back and forth, or just using the pairing on the exchange. So this isn't really too big of a deal, and I kind of wanted to talk about how Coinbase is really has always been falling behind. Now, they are a quality exchange, in my opinion, and very well insured and follow the rules and stuff. So I don't feel like there would ever be a hack or any kind of big major problem where they couldn't pay out or anything like that on Coinbase. So in that regards, it's highly secure. I feel it's one of the most secure exchanges, except for maybe Binance, where your funds are safeu. The only problem with Coinbase is that they never really add many coins. They've only just recently added Ethereum Classic and ZRX and then Zcash recently. So that's about it. And that's really not enough to persuade a lot of people to go on there. If you have some goofy altcoins or something like that, you need to choose a different exchange. Just because Coinbase is seemingly very, very afraid of adding anything that could be considered a security in the future, because of the whole American SEC, which, thank you, SEC. You guys are so awesome, and you provide such a great service. So Coinbase itself, terrible. But GDAX, its actual exchange, is great because of the free limits. The market buys are pretty cheap too. So overall, a good exchange, but they're like, hey guys, we've done a conversion service. And everyone's like, what? Hasn't this already been a thing for a long time? Yeah, it has. Moving on to another article here. BitMEX CEO Arthur Hayes says 24/7 trading of all types of assets is the future. Now, this is all types of assets, so he's not just talking about crypto here. So the CEO of BitMEX, Arthur Hayes, recently spoke on Laura Shin's Unchained podcast from the CME Global Leadership Conference in Naples, Florida. Shin questioned her guests on the future of blockchain technology. He went on to tell his story of how he put his hands in crypto trading when he lost his job at Citibank and he got into Bitcoin trading for a living. He also explored his mettle in derivatives trading. In a span of 8 months, he founded BitMEX in January 2014. He reinstated his belief in Bitcoin and told he believes the future of crypto market, but just not stock markets, with fluctuations in stock market making traders wary. He went on to say. Wow, that was crazy. I know. What really struck me about Bitcoin and the world of crypto assets was, for the first time, you basically have access for people who otherwise wouldn't interact with financial markets. I think 24/7 trading of all different types of assets is something that's going to be the future, and that will bleed into other markets we're all familiar with. FX, fixed income, and equities. So, now, that may not have meant a lot to you guys, but think about it. Crypto is sort of the first time that everybody was able to just sign up to an exchange, whether it's just with your email, or if it was a KYC exchange, and put your bank account and start day trading. Now, you could do that with the stock market. There was E-Trade and Scottrade and all those different websites where you can trade stocks. However, the trading was like $8 a trade. They'd always have those commercials like $8 a trade. Well, that's great, but that means if you're just trading like $50 in stock or $100 in stock and you make a trade, let's say a $50 stock goes to $52, and you make that trade, you actually lost $6 on that trade. If you just had one stock and it went up and you wanted to make $2, you actually lost $6 on that trade because it cost you $8 to make that trade. So if you didn't $8, oh my God, I put 5 fingers. It's really this many. And if you weren't trading a vast amount, and even if you had like $1,000 worth of stock and you made 10 trades that day, you just spent $80 to trade $1,000 worth of stock about 8 times. And that's a lot. So really, those websites, those trading platforms and exchanges for stock are for people who had a lot more money, that were trading tens of thousands or $50,000 or $100,000 worth of stock. Because at $8 a trade, if you make 10 trades throughout the day, you ended up losing a lot of money. Now, with Bitcoin markets and crypto exchanges, the fees were way, way, way less. And it was the first time that everybody was just able to get on, even with just $100 or $50, and be able to start trading and learn how to actually do it. Another thing that Bitcoin and crypto exchanges overall brought to the table was 24/7 trading. If anybody has ever tried to trade stocks before, you know that the stock market opens at like 9:30 a.m., depending on where you live, I suppose, and closes at about 4 or 5 in the afternoon. And then you just can't make any trades for the rest of the day. So you actually had to be at your computer if you wanted to day trade at 9 in the morning and stop at 4. So if you got home from work at 10 o'clock at night, you wouldn't be able to trade that night. You'd have to get up in the morning and then trade. So it was very inconvenient overall. So the 24/7 trading is kind of the future, and I wouldn't be surprised if BitMEX one of these days, one of these years, starts trading stocks as well, or if these crypto exchanges start actually adding stocks to them that you could trade 24/7, and it would sort of revolutionize the industry, just because other stocks stop trading. Like other exchanges just stop trading. They just give up and they just stop trading. Why? It makes no sense, but I suppose that's just the way they wanted it, and it's old men. I don't know. Moving on to crypto market cap, coin market cap. Oh my God. We have 114 billion market cap. And that's what we were at yesterday. So we have seen no movement today. We're still at 35.64 Bitcoin. That's not too big of a deal. We see a little bit of red here, but it's very, very small. So again, with this big rise in price recently, I expect a dip pretty quick here. So at 3,200, if you bought in Bitcoin at 3,200, sold it at 3,500 before this dip goes down, that's not too bad at all. Because I figure there's going to be a dip. Now, I could be wrong, and I want to be wrong on that and just have the prices skyrocket. Don't get me wrong on me not wanting to be wrong. But usually when there's a nice whale purchase like that and an almost 90-degree increase, it's followed by just the same a few days later. So I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Now, I want to shill a little bit here. Make sure you guys like the video. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. I also have a list of my social media for Steam, Twitter, Twitch, in the description below. So click on that. Follow me on those. Would appreciate it. But once again, hope you guys enjoyed this one. And as usual, I will see you guys next time.